What's good, everybody, and welcome back to the Warframe Beginner's Guide. If you have not completed the second dream quest, leave the video now or watch previous episodes in the guide to catch up. From this point forward in the guide, I'm going to assume that you have completed the second dream quest. So again, big spoilers in this one if you've not completed the second dream quest yet. You should have if you've been following the guide, but I don't want to spoil something that I think is really cool for you guys if you have not. All right, so much to cover in this video, so I may go quick. If you have questions, leave them in the comment section below. You now have an operator. After the second dream quest, you will get the access to focus schools. These are perk trees to enhance your operator abilities. I told you to choose Zenuric. Before Plains of Eidolon came out, there was a perk called Energy Overflow, which allowed you to accumulate energy for your Warframe continuously. It was an incredible perk, but after Plains of Eidolon came out, Digital Extremes overhauled the focus schools, and we're now living in a Focus 2.0 era. If you're ever looking for focus builds, make sure you indicate 2.0 because it had a very large change. Essentially what happened is all of the perk nodes that are more centered on focusing on like abilities for your operator, enhancing the operator instead of Warframes. With that said, I would encourage you to check out all of these frames, look through the nodes, pick one that resonates with you. Like all things in Warframe or most things, there really isn't a wrong choice. It's just all how you build it. When it comes to focus and accumulating focus, this is basically like an XP system that you're going to be earning as you play through missions. And from this focus, you're going to be able to unlock new nodes and upgrade those nodes further. Now, note, there's increasing your pool, which gives you more, I don't know what you would call it, but basically more of the access to the perk nodes available, right? So not only can you unlock the node, but you can then upgrade that node further to better enhance what's going on with that particular ability. So it sounds complicated. If you've ever used a perk tree before, it will be very simple. And I promise when you're playing with it yourself, it'll make a lot more sense. Now, in order to accumulate focus, you need to have a lens on your particular weapon or Warframe. Okay, it's just an item. Just like with syndicates, you have to wear the sigil in order to accumulate the standing with it. If I come up here to lens and I start typing in the lens, you will see here, yours won't have the greater written here, but you will have all the focus schools and then lens, and you want to pick up the Zenuric lens. Now, the reasons I have the greater is because I'm a little bit further along in the game. You can buy greater lenses for, I think, 40 plat, or you get them from sorties. Don't worry about it. Just get your basic lens, head over here. I recommend putting it on your main weapon of choice currently, because right now you're probably swapping between frames for different mission sets. And if you don't have the lens active on the gear you're using, you're not going to be accumulating focus. So that's why I recommend putting your initial lens onto your weapon. So if you come onto upgrade and then you go to actions, you'll see here in the far right a place where you can seat the lens. Then within missions, you will see these new yellow glowing nodes. Go over them. A timer will activate, and any enemies killed in that timer's time window will give you focus, something that you can just start accumulating throughout your missions right away. I also have one placed onto my Warframe just because I have, an extra lens, and that allows me to accumulate focus regardless of that primary weapon that I'm using. If you want to look at my build here for the heck, I'm using Contagious Spread for the Toxin, Charged Shell for the Electricity, Incendiary Coat, which gives me 90% heat. I've not talked about weapon modding just yet, but in general, it's far better to mod with elementals in mind than it is impact, puncture, or serration damage. And then on the bottom, we have Point Blank, 90% damage for shotguns. Hell's Chamber, which will give you 120% multi-shot. This has a very low drop chance from a ton of enemies. I will leave a link to this in the description below. It's a fantastic mod for your heck, but it's also something that you may or may not have at this point because it's an ultra low drop rate from a lot of the enemies that you've been fighting up until this point. And then Blaze, 60% damage, 60% heat. Something interesting to note, there is an order of operations to the way the mod slots work. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I want you to see what happens when I change Incendiary Coat and Charged Shell. Note, I'm doing almost 5k corrosive damage here. Really nice. But if I swap them, I'm now doing 2k electricity damage and almost 7,000 gas damage. Gas damage isn't particularly useful to me right now with the enemies that we're primarily fighting. So do be aware the order in which the mods are arranged does matter. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Really just comes down to playing around and learning a bit yourself. I will do a more in-depth modding for weapons video later. You will also have gotten the Broken Warblade from completing the second Dream Quest. This is a really stinking good sword, and I really recommend using it. Okay, very, very good sword. I've not really optimized my mod loadout here. Pressure point being very good. Fury, kind of helpful. There's some better options in here, but an incredibly good melee weapon that I encourage you to use at this point. All right, let's talk about what's next on the docket. The game gets more challenging. I know you're going to hear me saying that a ton. Neptune is your big deal, your next big deal to focus on, as well as Lua. Okay. On the Neptune side of things, let's talk about what you need to continue forward. You're going to need to beat the hyena pack. That's pretty easy. I'll show some video footage of it on screen currently. These bosses are a heck of a lot easier if you're doing it in public matchmaking. I went in with the Frost, the Snow Globe, helps slow down these guys when they're actually running in and out of the center of the map. They'll go all over the place, but just it's not a very hard fight. If you have trouble with the mechanics, again, I'll throw the wiki link in the description below so you can learn a little bit more. But in general, I don't think you'll have any trouble with public matchmaking. The Loki blueprints drop from this particular mission, and Loki is a phenomenal frame because he makes spy missions a complete breeze. He's a stealth frame. You can go invisible with him. I highly recommend that you build the Loki frame. And in fact, if you're having, taking your time at this point in the game and you're not wanting to rush forward, I would build the Loki frame before you actually complete the Corpus Spy mission on Neptune. That's the other thing you'll need, complete a Corpus Spy mission with 3 successful data extractions on Neptune. Spy missions are hit or miss for some players. If you are careful and cautious, I don't think you'll have a problem with it. But if this mission is giving you grief, if you're having trouble completing this, where is the spy mission? On Neptune, then maybe building the Loki frame will be something that aids you in that process. Then you're on to Pluto. Interesting enough, Pluto to Sedna Junction has this thing called collect any 3 mods from the Oregon Principal Challenge Rooms on Lua. That one is going to be a stalling point for a lot of players, and I want to talk about that here just for a second. Lua is a new location that has unlocked since the second Dream Quest. Very cool tile set, and some very useful missions. So let's talk about it for just a moment here. Stoffler is a defense mission that you're going to get very familiar with for mastery rank grinding. This defense mission has high enough level enemies that you can level a weapon from unranked to 30 in, I think, either 10 minutes or 15 minutes. So if an affinity booster is active, this is awesome because if you just sit down for a night, play an hour and a half, you're going to be maxing out a ton of weapons very quickly. This is your new go-to level me up node for now. There are better nodes later on, but for right now, Stoffler is an incredible node to increase the level of frames, weapons, and push your mastery rank forward. I'm MR7. I should be closer to MR9 or 10 at this point. I've just been focused on other games, but I encourage you to keep pushing your mastery rank forward. Level up weapons, sell the ones that you don't like, and continue crafting new ones as long as it's not breaking the bank. Let me switch back to my Frost frame real quick. I'm going to be using the Plato node for this particular one. It's an extermination mission where enemies are fighting one another. And on the Lua tile set, you have the chance for these principal challenge rooms to spawn. There are 7 of them in total. And they're puzzle rooms, basically. If you guys remember farming for rare mods back in the Void, it's similar to that. Except some of these are a little bit more challenging, and you need to get 3 mods in total from completing these successfully. The mods that drop from these are Exilus mods. If you've watched in the last video, you'll know what Exilus mods are. So I'm gonna go look and see if I can find one of these challenge rooms. Oh, boom. This is one of the challenge rooms right away. That was actually incredibly lucky. And essentially, this challenge room involves you stepping on a plate, having a partner jump onto where the next plate is, and there's a sequential order all throughout the room, and as you do that, it will unlock the way to get up to a room where a mod is, basically. Now, I'm going to link in the description below a guide video for all 7 of these. There's no way I can cover it in this, guide time frame. It would take 15 minutes of its own guide set, and I'm not particularly good at these. This was a slow point for me in my Warframe progress, my first playthrough. With all of that said, there are people in LFG chat who you can find who can help you out with this. I recommend watching the video. The link will be in the description below. It's a great guide on how to do the 7 different ones. but a lot of these are helpful if you have other players, okay? Oh, also, you're going to start seeing Sentinels show up in your missions. You guys fought these in the second Dream Quest. They're kind of a pain in the butt. They still remain a pain in the butt. I think they drop neural sensors. One of the best ways you can complete those principal rooms is just going to LFG chat, typing in, looking for others to complete Lua principal rooms. Need Exilus mods. Something like that. And I've done this 3 or 4 times, and each time I've been able to find teams to do so. Might take you, I don't know, 5-10 minutes of looking, but just keep utilizing that LFG chat because there are a ton of very helpful and kind players. You may even find a Sherpa who's helpful in showing you how to do the puzzles, but you'll want to watch the video I'm going to link in the description below. Once again, Pluto is a great node to do that simply because you've got 2 sets of enemies that will fight one another and kind of leave you alone while you're completing the puzzles. And that's your next set of goals. Complete the Pluto Junction, knock out the board of the main blue blinking nodes. I still have some more to do here. And then you're on to Pluto. And at this point in the game, you're getting some nodes that are extremely good for farming endo and different resources. And you're also going to start seeing silly amounts of credits. And also I mentioned Stoffler. Stoffler being a really great node, if I could click on Lua, for leveling up gear. So focus on Neptune, try and get your 3 mods from the principal rooms on Lua, and then the Sedna Junction is next. And you have on the horizon the War Within quest. The War Within quest is basically like a second Dream level of quest. It's very big. It's one of those, again, Everest moments in the Warframe experience, and that's the next thing on the horizon for you. Don't forget to equip your focus lens to start accumulating focus. Keep pushing your mastery rank further. Try and build the Loki frame, and remember to have fun. If you guys have any questions for me, please let me know in the comments section down below. Veteran players, I'm loving the comments. You continue to leave in the comments. I will continue thumbing them up, hearting them, and also pinning the helpful ones. So take a look at the comment section down below for further information on everything that was talked about here and additional tips. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Please subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying this series. We have got more Warframe, Monster Hunter World, and Destiny cooking in the oven. I appreciate all the support on this series. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk with you next time.